Okay, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to another review, another Rainy Retro video. Today we're actually going to review the long-awaited RG406V. And when I say long-awaited, it's long-awaited for me, mainly because this is something I've been wanting for a really long time, and this has actually been a long journey to get to this point. If you guys follow my story, follow me on social media, follow my shorts, you guys will see that it's actually been maybe like a 2-week journey, not only just getting this device, but also between repairs and everything else and getting it upgraded. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is the long awaited review, and we're going to do it a little bit different this time. We're going to do it as the good, the bad, and the ugly. That way we can just get straight to the point, and you guys kind of know what it is by now anyway, so we're just not even going to waste any time. Let's get into it. The RG406V, let's start with the good. The good is, one is vertical. I love vertical handhelds. If you are a fan of vertical handhelds and you originally saw this device, probably gave it a look and said, yo, like I may possibly want this. Also, it plays GameCube. That pretty much sealed the deal for me once I understood what it was. For me being as though I love vertical handhelds and the fact that it played GameCube, to me, I felt like this was the perfect 353 VS replacement. Another good thing about this is the RGB lights. It's pretty awesome, actually. I didn't realize how much I would actually like the RGB lights. I did see all of the videos when they did their tutorials and walkthroughs and everything. They will always show the rainbow effect, but it's so many other ones that you can program this thing to do, and you can pretty much put it on multiple different modes, ranging from that rainbow that you always see, but you can set it to one color. You can have it chasing while you play. It's just a lot of different things you can do, just working through the different settings or whatnot, because it is Android based. But it's definitely dope being able to have that almost like that gaming RGB effect on your handheld, right? Like it's like a mini PC, and they're giving you that option to play as such. Another good thing about the 406V is the fact that it is Android. If you're familiar with cell phones, if you're familiar with the Android operating system in general, this is going to be a great device for you. It's going to be really easy to set up, and I do like the fact that all of the emulators that you could possibly need for this does come with it out of the box. I actually haven't updated anything. I haven't really tinkered with anything other than just some basic stuff like the backgrounds or whatnot, which I will tell you, to do like the live backgrounds. I know when you open it out of the box, it does come with like that little purple one, the moving background. They do have some live backgrounds, but if you want some really custom ones, some that's kind of really built towards you, I would say go to TikTok, and you're going to download this app called TikTok wallpaper. That is, you're going to download that, then you're going to go to TikTok, you're going to go to the little live section, you're going to go to the search bar, and then just kind of type in what you're looking for. Shout out to Danny. And then make sure you type in live wallpaper, and then you're going to end up downloading things like that. They give very detailed instructions on the app, so it's not too hard. But anyway, another good thing about this unit is the fact that it is touchscreen, which is definitely convenient. With the 353 VS, this is honestly the perfect upgrade in my opinion. The 353 VS, it wasn't touchscreen. I know the V version was, but it was super buggy, and there wasn't really a lot of support behind it. Like even now, still, like when I log on Reddit, I do see the community is still thriving. People are still continuing to buy the 353V other than the VS, and a lot of the issues and a lot of people that are reporting problems just so happen to be the 353V. So if there was more support behind that, I probably would. I do feel like that still is like one of the best handhelds you can get. It's still one of the best looking vertical handhelds on the market, outside of the new A&E or DMG, whatever. Like I just saw that the other day, which is definitely dope, but the price range is insane. So, but anyway, sticking to this right now, like I do like the touchscreen on this. I also love the battery life on this. This is one of the few units. This is honestly the first unit where I actually leave it out on all day. Like I love just seeing the RGB lights while I walk by. Like the more I see, the more I'm going to play. And the main systems I do play on here are GameCube. Again, I do feel like this is one of the best GameCube emulation systems. One, because it's vertical. Two, it does look good on this 4:3 aspect ratio screen. And then again, Nintendo just really makes great games that just so happen to look amazing on a lot of different systems. Like I know they're really protective of their IP right now, which they have every reason to be, to do that. But I hope they really understand that it's just a love and passion for the games and the love and passion for what they did. So we just want to be able to play those games on all of our systems. So I don't know, maybe in the future, if you guys do some kind of license or some kind of agreement to say, hey, if we actually purchase the game, we'll let you guys do whatever you want to with it. Just show us proof that you purchased it, and I'm pretty sure the community will get a lot bigger and grow from that, and we'll probably, as fans of Nintendo will be able to work together and find some kind of solution to where we're all able to benefit from this gaming community. Just one thing that we all love at the end of the day. Okay, another good thing about this is the quick launcher button on the side. Let's say you didn't like the Android operating system, you want to stay into the specific game section, you don't want to do all the extra stuff, then boom, you just hit that button and it takes you right into it. Not too complicated, actually. You really wouldn't have to know anything about emulators just out of the box if you did order this with the card inserted, which I didn't because I have so many other devices. So what I ended up doing was taking the card from the RG351P and putting it straight in here. But then I took it back out and added pretty much like my GameCube collection, my N64 collection, and the 3DS. So we added those games on there and then put the card back in, and then everything just worked out pretty good. So I think that's a nice little feature if you have ordered Ambernic devices before, or if you have cards pretty much programmed through Ambernic devices. When you do decide to upgrade, when you do decide to upgrade, you just take the card out, put it in, and then everything works flawlessly, seamlessly. Yeah, and you're good to go from there. Another great thing actually is the sticks. I know I talked about the RGB, but the fact that they're actually Hall, I hope I'm saying this right, like Hall analog stick, Hall sticks, whatever you want to call them, but they're actually, as you can see, like when you're turning it, it's free range of motion. Like it feels like a true 360 experience. If you were to play games specifically for Nintendo 64, we'll say Mario as an example, like when you're running around, it's running in the exact direction of where you want it to. If you're gentle with it, he's going to slightly jog or whatnot. If you're really, really soft with it, he'll walk. So these are great joysticks, to be honest with you. Now mine are modified because I did get Odin 2 caps on it. See if I can get this in focus. Okay, so these are Odin 2 caps on it, which means this already stood out. The joysticks were already a little taller on the unit, but once I added these are definitely taller. And it does feel a little weird when you first put it on, but after a couple of days, you kind of get used to that gameplay, and then your hands adjust freely. If you were doing like a first-person shooter on this unit, having that extra height and having that free range motion, that's gonna help you, aim a little bit. You would definitely be more accurate with the trigger and while you're aiming and doing everything from there. So, would I recommend playing on the vertical handheld, a first-person shooter? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but I guess we'll see in a future video. There might be a future update. We'll see. And honestly, it's a lot of good about this. Again, I want to talk about the battery. The battery is the first unit where I leave it on literally all day. And when I say all day, it's running GameCube in the background, RGB lights going, playing Bluetooth in the background, having like Spotify, whatever going on, and it's running pretty much all day. So I want to say you're getting at least 5 to 6 hours out of it before really having to charge it up. Now, charging does take a sec with the cord that it came with it. It's going to get you about 2 hours. But after that 2 hours, you're good, and you're able to get like another 5 to 6 hours out of it. So that's a great thing. Again, it's a 5,000 milliamp watt battery. Again, one of the first units that I played to where it's literally on all day long, and that's dope. That's dope. Okay, getting into the bad. So I know I talked about the joystick height in the good, but that's also some bad. Again, it throws off the pocketability of the unit. Let me get this back in focus. This throws it off. So if you were trying to really stuff this in your pocket, if you were really trying to stuff this on the side of a backpack, even you were trying to stuff this on the inside of a backpack, the joysticks are going to throw this off 1,000%. Honestly, this should be one of those units where they make a custom case for it. I hope the community does grow to where they do that, because I do like this unit. I really do want to keep up with it. I want to make sure it doesn't get any scratches, because unlike the 353VS where I said if I break it, I probably end up replacing it. I technically did do that, but this was a very expensive replacement, and I honestly do not want to replace it if this were to break. So a nice case where it had that opening, or that little bump to where these stick out just a little bit, that would be a nice little hard case for that. I would actually really, really enjoy that. But honestly, what I may end up doing is getting one of those hard either camera cases or one of those gun cases, the little small one, and then packing this in there, because again, this was not a cheap unit. If it was like in that 150 range and it was on Amazon, then yeah, I probably wouldn't. But honestly, after all the work I put into it, after the modifications and everything, I really don't want to have to go through this again. So yeah, joystick height, that's a bad. Another bad in this, at least for my unit, my HDMI does not work. Originally when I did make the final decision to purchase this, one of the reasons why I bought it was I wanted to be able to use my AR glasses, my AR HDMI glasses, into the unit. And when I ended up watching that Aiden Walls video, I saw that he actually uses his for that. So that was a plus for me. And it was kind of disappointing when I did put mine in and I was only getting audio. So originally I kind of thought it was like the Steam Deck, where if your battery is low, the glasses won't power on all the way. But I made sure that my device was fully charged. I made sure it wasn't in power saving mode. I made sure that, it wasn't just a cord, because when I put it back in my Steam Deck, I was getting visuals. But when I plugged it into this, I was just getting audio. And then when I plugged in a regular HDMI cord, just plugging it straight directly into a TV, I also wasn't getting any video. I'm going to just assume that my HDMI out does not work fully, but it does charge my unit. So I will take that at least. Another bad, yes, it does have touchscreen, but the edges, they're really soft. And when I say soft, just certain parts around that bezel, you're going to have to hit pretty much perfectly in order for it to tap in and do what you needed to do. When I do edit, I do content create off my devices, especially any device that's Android. So with this being an Android device, I do create content from it. And when I realized the edges were really kind of iffy was when I was creating a video in CapCut, and I specifically needed to move something to a corner, and I was having difficulties, just kind of moving it from there, as well as clicking a corner to kind of exit out of stuff. So when you want to click certain things down here, if you don't hit it perfectly, it's not gonna go. So yeah, just the corners, just a little, they're not as perfect. Also, again, another app that I use is Spotify. When you're changing the song, the next button just so happens to be in the corner when you do rotate it, so you have to hit it in a certain spot. Like even right here, it's not changing my song. There we go. So again, you just got to hit it a couple times. It's a little sweet spot on the corners and on the bottoms. Another bad is the speakers. I'm not gonna say the speakers are bad. They are definitely pretty loud, but as someone like me who listens to music pretty much all day, and I'm pretty much wearing headphones or some form of headphones, I kind of know what music is supposed to sound like. I know how things are supposed to sound, especially during my favorite songs. When I play it on this unit just out loud, it sounds muffled. It's something that it sounds muffled and muddy. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, again, but most of the games you're probably playing anyway, you probably wouldn't want to play this out loud around people regardless. But in either case, I normally wear headphones, so again, it's a bad just because of the way it sounds. But at the end of the day, you have Bluetooth and you have this headphone jack at the bottom, so you have other options outside of that. Then lastly, the only bad about this, I talked about this in my previous comparison video, but this specific unit is listed at $250 on Amazon, which I think is incredibly overpriced. If you do go to AliExpress, or in my case, straight from Amber Nick, I ended up paying $138 with a couple of coupons, but like my total was $158. And again, I think that's a great price. If you do want to pay for this unit and you don't really want to wait the overseas and the China, and you need to buy a certain date, then I would say, okay, yeah, go ahead and grab it from Amazon, but try to get it as close to $200 as possible. I would say do not get the $250. That is a little overpriced. Probably cap it out right at $200, $229 max. Try to get those versions. And then another tip I would tell you to get with this unit is go ahead and grab some thumbsticks. Get a thumbstick that kind of matches the vibe and the look of the unit that you're going for. So if you got a white one, I would suggest getting like some bright colored sticks, some bright colored sticks. If you get the black one, I would say getting some bright orange ones, or just pretty much whatever your vibe or feel is. But just having those sticks the thumbsticks on here, especially a bigger version than the ones that are on the cap, is going to give your unit a better look, a better feel, and looks more even. Like, it doesn't look as quote unquote goofy. And I kind of hate saying goofy because I don't want to try to bash the unit, because I do love it. But it does look it does kind of throw it. I did watch, what's her name, Queen Gigi, and her video, she did say it was kind of ugly unit. People do say it's like a chunky unit. And I feel like, okay, it's okay being that it's a chunky unit, but you want to have chunky parts to go with it. I'm not mad at the D-pad and the buttons. That's actually a good size, especially the D-pad. The D-pad is one of the feels really, really good. I don't know if it's because it's brand new, or or if they switch some kind of insides or membrane or whatever's going on in there, but it's a really, really good D-pad. It feels good. Star of the show are for sure the joysticks down here. You see how small that looks, and this is a replacement one on top of that. Like, as you guys see, it's 3D printed, but I showed some footage of the original one before I switched them out, but they just look very small in comparison to the unit. It's like, especially mine being 3D printed. You know, the middle is gonna look, the quality is gonna be off a little bit, as you guys can see. But visually, from a distance, if I were to back up and I were to see this, I'm like, maybe not so much. That's probably one of the things that kind of threw people off from this unit, is kind of and telling them, man, maybe why they don't want the unit. Like, they probably are in love with vertical handhelds, and those like myself who really do love vertical handhelds, we're going to get this. But for those who are kind of on the fence about it, I guarantee bigger sticks or bigger more colors on the sticks that would probably convince them to get this unit, especially being the fact that it plays GameCube and PS2. I know they advertise it as PS2. Yes, it does play PS2. I haven't really tested it, mainly because of the PS2 file sizes. I could put it on here, but if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, if I'm gonna play a PS2 game, I'm going to play it on my Steam Deck. But something like this, definitely a portable GameCube, I'm with that 1000%. A vertical portable GameCube, I'm playing with this all day long. So that pretty much wraps up the bad, and then we're gonna get to the straight ugly. Now, honestly, this is gonna be a quick section on the ugly, but when you go into the Retroid on the side right here, when you go into the Retroid menu, I would strongly suggest putting all your games in there and put it in on one time. Because when you go back, if you decide, oh, I missed a couple games, let me go back and put them on there, then you get this right here. What's a good example of that? I'm gonna start with Wii. This is my Wii collection. In reality, it's probably only like 9 or 10 games. But because I copied it over so many times, like not even say copied it over, because I refreshed it so many times when I added a new game, it just so happened would add those files all over again for whatever reason. And then you get these dot files in the beginning that you can't even really click on. That is the absolute worst. And it does this for every single system. So again, this is only like 10 games, but it's literally copied over maybe 4 or 5 times because I was trying to add on games from another system. So that's pretty much one of that's the really ugly, actually. Really, really ugly. And then for whatever reason, on the 353 VS, when I had that problem, you know, you guys had that option of just kind of deleting the X file, or at least hiding it so it's not in the menu. For whatever reason, I can't find it on here. Maybe I just haven't found it yet. But more than likely, I'm probably going to end up installing the new operating system on there anyway. But just for right now, out of the box, first couple time uses, that is a really bad feature. Okay, so if I really had to sum this up, I would say this is basically the vertical GameCube. If you love GameCube and you love vertical handhelds, then this is the system for you. Definitely the system for you. Again, the joysticks, I know it may not look the best, but all the other features are definitely a plus on this unit. Suggesting to fixing that would just be get some wider joystick grip caps. Now this one specifically, I will leave a link to it, but just understand it was meant for the Steam Deck. It came with the Steam Deck. I bought a grip. It came with these caps that I was using for a while for the Steam Deck, but once I upgraded the skin on it, I just decided to look better without it. So these were actually sitting in my backpack for a while until I got this unit and just looked at that. I got the 3D printed caps on there and I looked at it from a distance. I'm like, yeah, this just doesn't look visually appealing to me. As a retro gamer, like, it looks really important to me when it comes to my handhelds. So I added the caps on there, took a step back and really looked at it and noticed that I was more attracted to the unit and I actually wanted to carry it more and I actually wanted to play it more. And it's actually on me in my space more now as well. And I'm more likely to play games on this. So that's definitely a suggestion when you do pick up this unit. This is the vertical GameCube. If this is your first unit, I do want to say you're going to love it. You're going to love the game selections. You're going to love the fact that it's kind of easy to set up. You're going to love the fact that it's Android. You're going to love the fact that it's going to play pretty much your entire childhood. Pretty much everything that you wanted to play that then. It's going to play a lot of the stuff that you want to play now as well. If you do want to go the updated route, like play some of the Android games, it does play that. If you do have Xbox Game Pass, it will stream those games pretty nice, actually. I would say, though, if you were like a racing enthusiast, the triggers on the back, if you're racing, when you push it, it's going to go full speed or brake. So there's no in between. It's either 100 miles an hour or 0. And me, I'm totally fine with that because when I'm racing, I'm kind of playing with the brakes anyway. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Could this be your all-in-one unit? Honestly, if you really wanted to, it could be. It could be, because when I had 353 VS, that was my everyday unit. And the only reason I even stopped using it was because I got other units that I needed to focus on. But I ended up getting a Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, falling in love with the Android operating system and go on from there. So I feel like this is that good middle ground. This is the 353 VS, but with the Retroid Pocket operating system as far as Android and how things are set up in that nature. So this is a nice middle ground. This could be your all-in-one unit if everything worked, I would say. My HDMI does not work, so But for what I needed to do, specifically for GameCube, specifically for the games I play, specifically for creating content, specifically for just posting like quick quick shorts and quick reels, and yeah, you're good to go. And I did see on Reddit, there are people actually streaming with this device. I do have it set up to where you could stream directly from Twitch if you wanted to do such. I probably will do a little gaming footage on that, but I'm actually geared more towards retro videos and retro type of TV content when I start streaming on Twitch specifically, because I do think it's important to have like a live channel, just all the stuff that we used to watch, kind of how our parents had TV Land and everything like that. So anyway, that's the good, the bad, the ugly with the RG406V. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.